Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Success Builders. Today we have with us Tom Giusti. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great, Ricardo. Thanks so much for having me on.
Pleasure having you. So where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hi up. How are you doing?
Actually, it's a suburb of Cincinnati, but nobody knows where that's at, so I'll just say Cincinnati. Yeah,
Okay,
it's in the
cool,
greater Cincinnati
fantastic.
area. Yep, yep,
Cool. So Tom, I believe that you're a published author and you're a podcast
hmm
host. So
absolutely.
our audience is going to want to know all about that. So I'm going to open it up to you to tell us about your journey, where it all started, and how you
Sure,
came to
yeah.
be doing what you're doing today.
Okay, yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, I've been in the mortgage business for about 23 years. Um, that was pretty much my profession, and I went to into banking, retail banking after that for about 5 years as a personal banker here in Cincinnati. I had a client of mine who was he I was emailing out a promotion for I think an equity line of credit to our customers, and he wrote me in some pretty nasty remarks, and I just emailed him back. So if I could ever help you, just let me know. And we ended up becoming friends over that period of time. And he basically said, well, you know what, you've helped me out so much with your answering my questions and just the knowledge that you have that you should start a blog. I'm like, well, I don't really have time for a blog, but I said, okay, I'll entertain the idea for a blog. So I said, let me do this, and me go ahead and I'll send you some ideas over the phone. I'll put them in my phone, record them, and send you some ideas via email. He said, okay, great. So I did that. He showed up another 2 weeks later and said, you don't need to write a blog. You need to become a podcaster. You need to have a podcast because you have a great voice for it and you're just full of information. So that's how I began my journey into podcasting. I really didn't have time for it. So I ended up recording some episodes on lunch into my cell phone, bumper music from the radio. I would turn it up and down. So it really wasn't that great quality, but the content was really good. And as I began doing that, kind of fell in love with it. Became kind of a passion of mine. Just sharing information that I had with my audience, and it kind of grew from there. Out of that, I mean, I've been doing it since 2020. We haven't started this year's podcast episodes yet, but that's going to start up here real soon. But out of that, I was writing a book. I wrote a book called Game Changer, kind of just ways that you can take control of your money and not let your money take control of you with budgeting and goal setting and debt reduction and some personal stories that I had from my own life. That became a really cool project, and I really enjoyed the process of that. So I'm a musician by trade. Been playing
Right.
guitar since I was 17, so I'm a creative type person. I love the creative process. So yeah, I just any way possible that I can do to help somebody not get in a personal situation like I was in years ago, to better their financial situation. Give them our slogan is to give you the knowledge and tools you need to build a strong financial foundation for a successful financial future. That's what our slogan, our motto is. So anything I could do in that way to help people, anybody that needs the help, I'm glad to do it. So yeah, I've been enjoying
Fantastic.
it.
So your podcast is called The Simple Money Show, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And is it an interview style or was it yourself sharing information? How does it look?
Yeah, I've done probably had about 70 episodes so far, and three of those are interviews. So
Okay,
it wasn't
cool.
the interview type format from the very start, but I had some really good three really good people that were on there that were very well known in their fields. Just great interviews with them, and yeah, so I've been looking for other interviews to do. That's probably what our format will be going forward. But just starting out, it was just information, getting people the information they need, whether it be credit or credit cards or how to budget or how to, how to set goals, those type of things, just to get that information out to people so they can change their lives like I had mine changed. So
Yeah, that's fantastic because the schooling system doesn't teach some of that stuff. Like, it
no,
didn't
no,
for
they don't.
me. It didn't for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only 7 states here in the United States mandate any type of financial education at the high school level. That's not good for our children, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
And here in New Zealand, something I actually noticed a lot because I was in the vehicle finance industry for maybe 2 or 3 years.
okay. Mm-hmm.
I was actually doing um, loans at a call center level. And I spoke to a lot of people. I used to call like 100 people a day. And I used to find that very interesting dynamic is that a lot of the men in New Zealand were actually uh, blue collar worker class, and a
Mm,
lot of the finances were handled by their female partners or their wives.
really?
And yeah, that's actually
Okay.
very common here. Is that the women are the ones that actually are more financially literate than the men, funny enough. So
Okay.
yeah, interesting.
That is an
I
interesting
saw,
dynamic. Absolutely.
yeah, I saw that, you know, quite regularly, and so I think that that is very disempowering for a man nowadays to like not know how to control finances or understand finances. Um,
Completely agree.
and so important to be able to learn about this sort of thing. And hey, now there's a podcast. It's a free podcast. You can literally go and listen. Because not everyone comes from a financially affluent background. I was fortunate. I had, you know, my father was an entrepreneur, so dinner talk would be all about business and it'll be about staff and all about, what this
Yeah.
happened at work and that happened at work and about money and finance and multiple properties and things like that. So I grew up financially literate. I had a bank account from age 11 or something like that.
Wow.
So like I was working as a DJ from age 13. I was a mobile DJ already.
Good
Uh,
for you. That's awesome.
yeah. So like, but a lot of my friends didn't have any enterprises when they were in high school. They didn't because they probably their family wasn't minded like that. They would probably their parents probably had a job with a certain company and they didn't
Hmm.
really talk about finance at the dinner table. I mean, some might have, but I'm just yeah, I can't generalize. But yeah, I was like one of the few that was actually working from age 13. And so I really encourage
Wow.
anyone to learn this kind of stuff, learn finances, learn how to balance your checkbook, learn about overdrafts, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so your show really helps with that. And your book also is about the same type of content as your phone is, I mean,
Yes.
as your podcast,
As
correct?
a,
Yeah.
yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit more condensed version of it. I mean,
Okay.
I have a copy of it
Show
right
us the
here.
book. Show us the book.
I have a, yeah, I will. Let me see if I can grab a copy of it. I this is it right here. This is called Game Changer. It's a short read. It's about 93 pages long. I share some of my own personal stories in it. But it's got a chapter in there of, basically how important an emergency fund is. That's probably
Oh
one of the
yeah.
first steps. How important goal setting is. How important all these are important items. They all mix in with each other. Debt reduction, how to have a good debt reduction plan if you're in debt. How to save money. I don't get too much into investments because I'm not a licensed financial investor. But it's what I found working at the bank is people came in and they would say, "Hey, Tom, I want to buy a house," and I look at their bank account and they were overdrawn. They didn't have any savings. Their credit score was really low, and they were not ready to buy a house. It's because nobody taught them the basics of money to be able to get them ready to have that foundation to go ahead and buy that house. They're always wanting to put the roof on before they put the foundation down. That's what I
Yeah.
found out in my banking career. So this is kind of a way for me to to reach out to people and say, hey, look, it's not that hard, but it is important. It's really important to set yourself up with a good foundation.
Yeah, I actually found the same. So, like in finance, the lenders look at your last 3 months on your bank statement. Normally here in New
Mhm.
Zealand, anyway. I don't know what it is like elsewhere in the world, but sometimes back to 6 months. So you want that as clean as possible. Like something super simple. Like some people, one person in the family does all the grocery shopping, and then everyone else pays into their account. So
Yeah.
all that
Mhm.
grocery shopping lands up being attributed to their personal expense, even though it belongs to the rest of the family. The bank can't prove that it's not theirs, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
it's so good to have a clean bank account and not it happens a lot, especially with the Pacific Island communities and that, where one person in the family would own the family bank account in their name, and then it's all very commingled and mixed up. Everyone's
Wow.
um, like cell phone bills are going out of the same accounts, and it becomes really messy. So for
Yeah.
banks to lend on that basis is really hard. So it's so important to have your own clean bank account with only your expenses if you're wanting to do finance. That's something I found
That's
especially.
interesting.
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
kind of different here in the States. They don't really look at they'll look at your bank account, but they don't really put a whole lot of weight on it.
Okay, I
It's more
see.
on your credit score and your income, and whatever's on your credit report.
Okay.
Which is kind of sad because you may have a really good bank account numbers, but you may not have a really good credit score. But
Yeah.
anyway, it kind of averages itself out. But that's really what they look at here in the States.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here, the bank account plays a huge part. They actually dissect like almost every single line.
that's crazy.
They even went
Wow,
as far as like tithes to church. And I actually
really?
had someone who just didn't make finance because they were paying like $120 a month or something as a tithe to church. But I was saying to the lenders, but that's ridiculous because um, that's not an obligation. They can stop paying that at any time. But they like
Interesting.
made them uh stop doing that and come back 3 months later once the bank account is showing 3 months of not
Yeah.
paying tithes sort of thing. That was ridiculous, man. That was like,
Hmm.
ah. So yeah,
Interesting.
there's
Wow.
all these nuances that you actually need to know in your specific country, like exactly what you're
Yes.
doing. Yeah. Now,
Yes. Yes, there are.
I have a question for you. The cover of your book has some chess pieces on it. Do you play chess?
Hmm.
Do you?
Do I play chess? I don't know a thing about chess.
Oh,
No, I don't
okay.
play chess at all. No, I just thought I had a good guy say I had a gentleman that was one of my customers. He said, this finance thing is like playing a game of chess, and I don't know how to play chess. That's why I kind of got the idea for the cover. I
Okay,
was thinking,
cool.
okay, well, if this could be either one of these items could be a game changer for you. So that's
Yeah,
kind of where I
exactly.
got the cover. I have
And
no
chess is
idea
a
how to play
game.
other than
Yeah,
yeah,
and you chess the game and you want to be the king, right? Uh,
you
or
checkmate, man.
yeah, yeah, king or queen. The queen's in some ways better because she can move further in all directions. The king can only move one
Yes,
space.
yes,
So there's your
that's
first
right.
chess lesson. Um, so how long did it take you to write the book?
Oh wow, I started about 2 years earlier. I got about this is a good lesson in setting goals. I got about maybe a quarter of the way through it in December of 2022, and as I was setting goals for the next year, I thought I got to finish this. And the only way that I'm going to finish is if I set a deadline date for myself and then tell other people where they can hold me accountable. So I basically set April 28th of the next year, and I told about 4 or 5 of my closest friends and family that my book's going to be done by this time, and I got on it and I finished it. But it wasn't until I actually set my deadline date and told somebody about it that I actually got off my off my butt and finally finished it. So yeah.
Okay,
So most of it
no,
was written
cool.
in about 4 months.
Okay, awesome. And where did you publish it? Did you have it published on Amazon or through an
Hmm.
independent publisher, or how's it work?
Yeah, I published it on Amazon. I did all the artwork and stuff. I had somebody do that for me. Then I put it on Amazon. I have it available as an ebook and as a hardcover. So yeah, both of them are on
Fantastic.
Amazon. Did my
Cool,
self
cool.
publishing. Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll
Yeah.
put the links to your book in the description of this podcast so that
Nice.
the audience can then go straight into it and grab a copy if they want one.
That'd be
That'll
awesome.
be fantastic. Yeah, and we'll also include a link to your podcast as well.
Okay.
And yeah, because it's like you, I'm all about um, you know, I'm passionate about financial literacy and for
Hmm.
people to uh, up-level their life through,
Yeah.
making s- other strategic investments, having a good savings fund like you mentioned, or and not get into stupid debt that they will regret later. So those
Yeah.
are my personal key pillars as well. So that's really cool that you're teaching that. Um,
Yeah. Thank you.
and so what does 2025 look like for you?
2025. Yeah, I'm gonna probably start another book. It's gonna be probably more geared towards kids, for
Nice.
parents with kids. So it'll be game changer, but it'll have for kids on it. So it'll be the same types of subjects as that. My podcast, I've committed to doing at least once a week episode. It was once every 2 weeks, and it kind of got once every other month, and then so I committed to doing that a little bit on a more of a regular basis. I'm actually working on a goal setting course right now, as well as my standard financial foundations course, which will be kind of a culmination of everything. So I'm working on that right now as a course that you can actually purchase online. So yeah, that's what that's looking like for me at the moment. Yeah,
Fantastic. Well, I'm
yeah,
sure that the audience will be very interested to follow your journey, and I'll include your links to your socials as well, so that they can see what you're up to in 2025.
Well, I appreciate that.
And
Appreciate that.
I'll be following you as well. And so, would you like to leave the audience with any final message, value, or wisdom?
Versus value or wisdom? Yeah,
You can pick one.
it's a great question. That's such a broad thing. My probably one thing that I would leave is if you're in a situation where you are in over your head, maybe you feel like you're drowning, with whether with finance you don't understand, reach out for help. I just find people don't want to reach out for help because, especially men in this country,
Yeah,
because they're proud, and I get that. I'm a man, so and I get that, but there's no shame in reaching out for help, whether it be emailing myself, whether it be reaching out to a friend. I reach out to my dad all the time and ask for his, financial advice. Um, but reach out and get help, because if you don't, you're going to end up drowning yourself. You'll be there by yourself, kind of isolated, and you end up losing not only direction of where to go, but you end up losing your identity, and just life just becomes really crazy and overwhelming. So reach out for help. My wife's a therapist, so
ah,
I know what she can
okay.
do to help other people. So just reach out to somebody. Educate yourself as much as you can about finances, um, whether it be a podcast or a book, whether it be just reading some articles online, but always be growing yourself and educating yourself when it comes to finances.
That's really good
That is my
advice.
wisdom for the day.
That's fantastic. And thank you so much
Yeah.
for being on the show.
Well, I
And
appreciate it, Ricardo. Thanks for having me.
anytime. And to the audience,
Yeah.
remember, as we always say, it's always dream big and build bigger. Until next time. Cheers, everyone.
There you go.